According to a new survey of 79,000 businesses across Canada, Australia, Ireland, and the UK, the workplace stigma around mental health appears to be lifting. But it finds that there is still room for improvement when it comes to the resources that workplaces offer. The survey was conducted by Peninsula Group, a global advisory and consultancy firm that focuses on employment law, health and safety, and HR. Well, with us now to discuss these findings is Mr. Kiljon Shukullari, HR Advice Manager at Peninsula Canada. Sir, welcome to Forum Daily.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Nima.
So, according to the CEO of your organization, Darren Chadwick, nearly half of Canadian employees experienced at least one work related mental health risk factor. So, what exactly is a work related mental health risk factor in the first place? What does it look like?
Well, these are the risks in the workplace associated and the factors contributing to someone's well-being, mentally, especially. So some of the examples would be something like your culture, your possibility of development and growth within the business. But some of the most influential factors found also or highlighted by the Canadian Commission for Health are things like balance in the workplace or balancing your work-life balance, workload management, and involvement and influence within the work environment. These are kind of the main things that we addressed and we found as well with our research, and we see this on a regular basis as we chat with a lot of small to medium-sized employers.
All right, and looking at the stats here a little bit more, 94% of employers say they're available to help staff with mental health concerns. What sort of help do they provide?
Well, this is the interesting thing that we found from the data that there certainly seems to be an increase in employers' availability to discuss, to at least have a conversation, which is a really good start with regards to mental health concerns, what the factors in their particular workplace would be. So, is it to do with discrimination? Maybe sometimes is it about the toxic environment? Is it about any other factors, maybe workload and balancing? But the support, it stops most of the time at the talking about it, maybe acknowledging it, and also providing the time, as you highlighted earlier. A lot of the Canadian employers, they provide the time needed for individuals to deal with this, but there's not a lot of employers that provide the guidance and the support when it comes to an employee assistance program, for example.
Clearly, a lot of work needing to be done in the support aspect of this. But let's first talk about these mental health days. So, we mentioned 23% of Canadian employers were found to offer them, and 15% planning to offer them in the next 12 months. So, what constitutes as a mental health day in Canada, and how do you qualify?
Well, this is the interesting thing as well. In Canada, especially in most of the provinces, there is such thing as paid days off, for example, sick leave. These are usually associated with maybe a physical injury or some kind of unforeseen event. A lot of the employers are actually offering these additional days off, for example, either as part of their contract or contributing with the support from the province when it comes to things like anxiety or stress. Burnout is a word that we usually don't want to hear when it comes to the workplace environment, but it's something that tends to happen, especially during the periods of stress.
Definitely. Now, I guess the big question here would be whether mental health days are enough to tackle all of the issues facing employees right now, especially considering all the financial pressure they may be feeling amid the banking crisis right now, inflation, interest rates, you name it, we've got it. So, what other supports are needed right now to help employees at this moment?
So anyway, we mentioned it earlier, and you're absolutely right. There is no such thing as just providing the time off to individuals. If you provide the time off, it should be supported by an employee assistance program that talks about and addresses some of the concerns individuals might have. If it is work-life balance, if it is leading a healthier life when it comes to your mental health, especially getting the right guidance, maybe therapy is something that you're looking to do. That time off should be contributing to that particular aspect. The other thing would be, even in, like you mentioned, the financial crisis, provide some guidance. A lot of the payroll providers out there, Manolife is one of them, which we looked at the report that was related to mental health concerns in the workplace. They provide guidance for employees, even when it comes to financial support and guidance on, nowadays there's a lot of factors contributing, like you said, but you want to have these things in place, and it should not come as a surprise, Nima. So whenever you have someone new joining your environment, your onboarding process should have the right policies, should have the right guidance, should have the sometimes the where to go to kind of instructions for an employee, and where to go to and address these concerns, at least start the conversation and then get the guidance from the employer. The concern that we have, to be honest, is with small to medium sized businesses. They don't have as many resources as a large corporation would have. So that's where the focus needs to be more on prevention and being a bit more proactive, knowing all of these factors that we mentioned earlier.
All right, Mr. Shukullari, a lot to keep our eyes on in the workplace when it comes to mental health supports. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but we appreciate you joining us today and explaining this to us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.